Hey everybody, JP Killa. We're gonna do the Lightforce RimWorld colony now. This is my third attempt now at getting the colony started, but various recording issues and technicalities kind of screwing with me. So I'll kind of try to describe how the game works and all the intricacies as it goes on. There's a lot of complicated systems going on, like that was the difficulty setting thing, but they do it through storytellers, which are created to, they basically are throwing scenarios at you intelligently. They're making decisions about what you're going to experience at any given time. So the one that I picked is kind of a pain in the butt. She ramps stuff up as you get better and better, and she does not go easy on you. Just constant issues and stuff you gotta deal with. So this right here, I'm looking for a suitable crash landing location. A couple of things that I'm looking for. I'm going to do this in a place with a pretty rough winter. I just kind of like the way that winter messes with the gameplay. You have to stock up food for an extended winter and deal with surviving through that, and you need to build warm clothes, and it's just kind of rough, and it adds a little bit of extra goodness, I think. So the other thing that I'm looking for is I want there to only be two types of stone, this line right here. And specifically I'm looking for having granite and marble. Granite is good for making buildings, because it's the toughest stone, and marble is good for, here we go, granite. Marble is good for making sculptures, and since we've got at least one person who's almost exclusively good for being artistic, it would be good to have a good stone around for that character. So I'm using a mod here that lets me have full control over the colonists that we start with. To save time, I've pre-created all your people. So for me, I'm basically shooting. I have melee, but that just kind of came with the backstory. And then I'm also the grower and cooker. Why growing? Because I'm good at gardening. Get it? Ha! It's funny. Anyway, so next we have Mustache. I'm doing this in order of when I got your guys' characters, and he sent me his a while ago. Not on Game FAQs. He's melee, research, and then animals, which will come in a little later. There's a gimmick I wanted to try with this. And Brailiff will be the animal handler to do it. Then we have Retro. He is melee, social, which means he'll be doing all of our wardening and recruiting activities, and he's also a crafter. I do have a lot of... I value crafting highly, so he'll be crafting a lot once we get into the mid and late game. And then we have Moogie, Luigi's character, who's going to be largely useless, at least in the early game. Being incapable of dumb labor is really kind of a killer. But once we get towards the end and I have other crafters, and once Mustache is freed up from his other responsibilities, he'll probably take over research, so that way she can focus on creating sculptures, which is valuable. So I am using point limits. I don't know how, like, this, of the many times I've tried creating the colony, this, like, seems to just keep getting worse. So maybe I won't do point... Well, no, I will, because there's the next phase of this, which is what your starting materials. And I should be able to take most of this out in silver. Okay, no, it has definitely gotten worse. Just cut off a few points in useless stats. That's only costs 20. I don't know if I can take 300 points off and still be functional. Take off maybe some medicine. I can't really give up the steel. We can go down on survival meals, I guess. I need 240 points remaining for the things that I want, which are a female and male chinchilla. And Brailiff's job is going to be to train these into an army of attack chinchillas. instill fear and suffering into our enemies. So with that, we'll start. So the outset is going to be very slow as I do a lot of planning. It's kind of like a Sims or SimCity on steroids. So just at the start, this... oh no, that is not. So when I'm looking for starting bases, there's two things I'm looking for. I'm looking for this, yeah, fertile soil. Basically any crops grown on it grow a lot faster. And then I'm also looking for the... oh, that was not a steam geyser. These steam geysers, which are... there's a power plant you can research that you can only place on top of these, and they're quite good. But it doesn't look like this map really has much in the way of that. You don't want to build near the edge of the map. You will start facing raids as the game goes on, and they spawn from the edges of the map, and so building this close to the edge is kind of a dicey proposition. And especially with not much fertile soil around it, I think what we'll do is we'll just do a non-geothermal base, and we'll settle around this fertile soil here. So yeah, we'll get to planning, as we unlock all of our starting stuff, just to make sure that we can actually build once we give the orders to do so. So let's see. First, I want a, and I've practiced with, or I've planned, I suppose is the proper word, making buildings. So I know generally the dimensions that I want them. This 12 by 12 here is going to be a freezer. I keep it close to the farmland, so it takes less time to haul the food from the farm to the freezer. And then I want a 12 by 12 crafting workshop sort of deal. And then I will need a, I believe, 19 by 20 living area. And this mountain here is kind of screwing with it. So maybe we'll build up. This is more fertile soil, I think. Yes, bottom left, you can kind of see details on the thing you're hovering over. So let's do that. I typically like to build kind of like a L around the fertile soil. But we don't actually have to worry from raids in this direction because it's all water. So maybe actually what we do is we put all of our buildings on the other side of the fertile soil, and then we just kind of use this as a natural barrier. Might have to worry about some attacks from the south, but we can deal with that when it gets there. So after all my flustering and blustering, we're just gonna go ahead and build up our stuff on the other side of this fertile soil. I want to get it close, but not too close to the fertile soil. So 12 by 12, and then the workshop, which we can use that as a natural wall and then mine this out later. And then I want to have space for the windmill that I'll eventually put up, which I believe is 5 wide. And then we do... I like keeping things nice and even. If you are into games where you can spend a lot of time min-maxing and being very detail-oriented about everything, this is definitely the game for you. You can absolutely play it without this level of, doing everything exactly the right way, but it's definitely added to the experience for me. So I think this is a good start. So we'll also start planning out. The first thing I want to do is get the oh, this is the 19 wide? Yeah, that's okay. I want to start planning out the bedrooms. That's the first thing I want to make sure gets built. So we have... the way that I do these is I have bedrooms that are 5 wide by 6 long, which I think this is. Yep. And we need 4 of them because there's 4 of you people. There we go. And we'll... oh no, no. There's no Control Z. It's okay. We got this. Alright, 5, 10, 11 for the wall in between. And I'll fix all this later. Alright. Cancel. Door. And you know what? I think we'll also... I'll get the orders to... I want... Oh, yeah. So, more things that we need to set up. This is very exciting for you all, I'm sure. I'm going to set this up as a stockpile zone, and we'll have this set up as a dumping stockpile zone. You can get into a lot of detail on what is stored in this, and you'll see that a lot later. But for right now, I want people working on their initial jobs, and our initial jobs are going to be... I keep Firefight on 4 because I prefer to manually handle it rather than let the colonists do it whenever they want. Everyone should have patient and bed rest assigned to 1, so they're taking care of themselves before they're taking care of their work. I think I have the best built-in doctor. No one else is a medicine specialist, so we just kind of have to work with what we've got. Retro's our warden, Mustache is our handler, I am our cook, our grower, our plant cutter, and because I want to prioritize plant cutting over growing right now, I'm going to keep that higher. I'm also our only hunter. We have to manually specify targets, so I can keep that at 1. We don't have any miners, that's okay. Mustache is going to be our hauler at the outset, and then Moogie is going to be our researcher, because we're not going to have enough time and production and materials available to have Moogie craft anything. And by default, Retro is our constructor because he has 1 point higher than I do. I would help out, but I need to have him helping out by cutting the trees. I picked kind of a woody place, and you got to get the plants out of the way to build your structures. So I always have repair as higher than construct. Usually is you need repair done to repair stuff that has broken catastrophically. So we'll start people moving as I finish this. These bedrooms here. Oh no, this is bad. This is okay. 6, but this is not. So we'll slow you down a little bit. Alright, now you can go to full speed. Okay, so 6 by 5. There? Yes. Oh, I should make sure we have doors instead of just building walls like I always do. Alright, so let's see. That'll get us started for now. This looks wrong. Yeah, I screwed this up. This is 7. God damn it. This is why we can't have nice things. Okay, so here's what we do. We deconstruct this, cancel these. This is okay, I want that there. Cancel these. And see, the being min-maxy and anal retentive about everything can also backfire, because if your building is off by just a little bit, then you have to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it back up, and it's, you know, better things you could be doing with your time and resources in the colony than moving your entire building 1 square north. Alright, so we got this finishing up. Well, the plan's almost finished up. Chinchilla's are mating face-to-face. I did not know that's how chinchillas mated, but, you know, whatever. It's all good. So this will all become one big building later. I guess I'll just keep them separate for now. I keep them one building so that they can share heat transfer and stuff like that. When the winter hits, you gotta heat your buildings. Otherwise your colonists freeze to death, and that's not fun. Let's see. I really wish Mustache would be hauling these meals, but I guess they start short range. Alright. So, and then we'll also start working on setting up our grow zones. Let's do... oh, perfect. Wrap it right around a stone, and this is all gravel too, which is lower fertility. So maybe we'll build the grow zones vertically. Usually do them horizontally, but this should be okay. So we'll do a 3x15 there, do a 3x15 here. This will be rice. This will be hay eventually. I don't know if chinchillas will eat hay, but I'm hoping that they do, so I don't have to like make kibble for them. And then we'll do another 3x15 here. This will be corn. And once JP finishes cutting all these plants, he'll move down here and start dealing with the grow zones. But I want him to start on the rice. It's a faster growing but less productive plant. And corn is a much slower growing but much more fruitful plant. Crop, I suppose, is the technical term if you want to be technical about it. So I want the rice grown first just so we have something. And in fact, we'll make use of these berries here to give us something in the short term. And actually, Mustache needs some produce to start training the chinchillas, which I haven't actually specified him to do. I'll probably go more into detail on what these tabs are later. It took a few hours before I got used to how everything works in here. I get back into here, but I kind of know where everything is, how to get to it, and I'm taking a lot of that for granted, so you might be watching and being kind of confused as to what the hell I'm doing, why I'm doing it. You'll get used to it eventually. It's not too bad. So I'm not really sure why I'm attached to my 3x15 grow zone sizes, but and why? Let's see. They have to be symmetrical and perfect and everything. So that is 3x16. It's okay. I won't die. 3x16, and then you have to there's some clicking around you got to do to work around some of the goofiness. If you start growing if you add a new grow zone, but you have this one selected and your new grow zone touches the one you have clicked, then it just expands that grow zone, which usually works out, but you have to do it intentionally. So yeah, Retro's been our constructor. He's not very good at it, so it's taking him a while to get this all set up. Didn't have enough to get all the beds set up, and I snaked the first bed, so sucks to be all y'all. So the other thing I want to make sure that gets done today is this is our freezer, so this will be our workshop, and I want to get Moogie working today. So even before we get to finishing these bedrooms, I want to get the research bench up so Moogie's got something to do. Where are you going? Stop it. Build this. So one of the things that I was watching there, why I didn't tell him to do this right away, you really have to manage your colonists' mood. If their mood drops, they have a chance of basically just going into a psychotic break, and that can be anything from they become useless for a while to they'll actually just physically cause damage to your colony. So, right here, Mustache, what's wrong with you? Oh, right, you're a night owl, so I need to have you sleeping. Okay, sleep. Mustache, I think it's 11 to 18. So, night owl means that he prefers to stay awake at night and sleep during the day. Much like the real life Mustache. For those of you who don't know Mustache, Colonel Mustache is Koopa Dude on Game of Figures. And true to his real self, he is very much a night owl, so he'll be sleeping a lot during the day and working at night, which is kind of a pain for the chinchillas because I don't think you can change their sleep schedules. Pandy is our male chinchilla, and our female chinchilla is Hunger. In my earlier attempts, we had some much better names for these chinchillas, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. Mustache, are you sleeping? You are sleeping. Rebuffed by JP, slept on the ground. Yeah, so not having beds in bedrooms is really kind of a killer on your mood, which is why I'm bothering getting separate bedrooms at all rather than just having like one big room with a bunch of beds in it, which you can do, but it's basically like a permanent mood debuff. Oh shoot, okay. Research bench has been up for a while. Mookie is doing nothing. Now, start doing something. I do the draft undrafted, forces them to recalculate what they're, when they get undrafted, they make a new decision about what they're going to do. So I do that a lot to snap them out of being idle. So Retro's finishing those up, so his next job is going to be to set up the freezer. On a lot of maps I do double wide walls. It actually helps with insulation, so it bleeds cold air slower. But because this is a very cold map, I'm not going to worry about that. Hunger got food poisoning from berries, that's fine, I don't really care. Can get food poisoning and it's kind of a pain, but that was a chinchilla, so whatever. How are they doing? Mustache already has Pandy obedient, still working on hunger. That's alright. So let's see, what else do we have to make sure we're doing? Moogie's still researching. Mustache is up and about, working. He'll be hauling overnight. Maybe I can have him plant cut as once he's done hauling too, so he can help out on that front. And with that being the case, we have enough rice grown that I'm okay with starting to clear this area out. When you build a windmill, you have to have clearance. Wind has to be able to pass through a certain area unobstructed, and it takes up a lot of space for that, so you just need to make sure all the plants are cut and everything. So yeah, I will be eventually building this around, but the freezer's more important, so we're preserving food. These are all prevented from... These are always good. You can break these down to get materials. So I'll try to remember that those exist, which basically translates into I will not remember that they exist. But that's okay. So we'll get cotton grown. Cotton's very good material for crafting and furniture and stuff like that, so I want to make sure that I've got a good supply of that. And because we need to preserve food, we'll do 2 rows of corn down here, and we'll do hay grass up here. And then with that in mind, we'll allow sowing for the corn, so we can do that soon. And actually I might take JP off of plant cutting and just let Mustache handle it. No, that would be a bad idea, I think. Alright, how's our wood supply? 296. It's not enough for floors, but not yet anyway. Retro, what are you doing? Fulfilling your joy. Can you come back soon? Alright, you... Yeah, come on. I appreciate your need to keep yourself happy, but I am only happy if you are working, so you're gonna have to get it together. We'll also have to cut these plants out eventually, but it's more important to get the windmill up first. So we'll have the entry up here, entry down here, because it points right into the... I probably actually should have the entry up here. You know what? I'm still gonna do that. So the reason for that is I use the freezer to store not only the raw food but the meals that I will eventually be cooking, and the closer they are to, you know, whatever your main central hub of your colonists when they wake up and go to bed in the morning. Wake up and go to bed in the morning. Wake up in the morning and go to bed at night. The less time they spend walking to get their food. So that's preferable. Also are all going to be having a debuff because they're eating without tables. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was, so I might hold off on making the table. It just takes time away from the construction that he can and should be doing. And I've almost cleared this all out already. Damn. JP don't fuck around. Power. Wind turbine. So typically I've always done like solar generators, but I did try a wind turbine once and it actually did really well, so I think I'm gonna keep that up. So this all lines up nicely, so I have to put it here. Even though, well, I really can't put it there though, because this is gonna directly block the entrance to the workshop. So I might actually just move it back here and then mine out the... Alright, so where's my entrance here? I think it's here, right? Remove plan 5. I think it's here. No, it's... Yeah, it's here. These two. 5, 5. Alright. So we just need to make sure that this is clear. Power... Wind turbine... There. And then we need to mine out those 3 blocks here. So we'll give the mining order, and then we'll make Moogie do it. Will Moogie do it? She will not. She's... yeah. Mustache. Cut some rocks. There you go. Oh, never mind. Okay. Visitors. They have a couple items to trade. I don't really have anything to trade them, especially considering I don't have any silver. I have an awful assault rifle, some herbal medicine, and pemmican. They will not take anything we have to trade, so that's fine. Do away with them. I guess speaking of do away with, maybe we could, like, capture or kill some of these people for their stuff. It's a little, he's, you know, new lovers. Retro and JP have come together. Aw, that's so sweet. Okay, well that means we need a double bed. Because it is a mood debuff when they don't sleep together, and it is a mood buff when they do. So, yeah, I want to sleep with JP. -3, but we'll figure it out. Nice to meet you, Retro. So yeah, we have 2 guys, 2 girls. I imagine that Moogie and Mustache are going to hook up before too long. So look forward to that. How are they doing? Oh yeah, look at that. +40, +38. Had a deep talk, 14. They crashed together, +25. Oh, crashed as in crash landed. Oh, maybe they like fell when they slept outside that one time. They fell asleep in the same room or something. Alright, well. So that's, I think, a lot of the bulk of the setup. I did not keep a timer, so I have no idea how long this has been going. But I think this is a pretty good start and setup to the RimWorld colony. Yeah, so let me know if you got any feedback, if you want to see anything goofy happen, or if you want to see anything built, if you want... let me know, I'm sure I can make it happen. But we'll be focusing next time on getting our freezer actually up and running, getting production in here for butchering and cooking, and then we can actually start making some meals. And then we'll probably have to start focusing on defenses. I'm the only person with a gun, so the first raid is probably going to be pretty rough. So maybe maybe we should focus on researching smithing, so we can make some maces for, or swords or something for Mustache and Retro, so they can help out in raids. So that'll do it for this time. Let me know what you think. Oh, perfect timing. Crashtown, no. We are going to call this colony Lightforce, and we're going to leave it there.